Hey everyone, this is JT, and I am very excited to announce my NFT project to you. First of all, a few reasons why I was motivated to work on this project. First of all, the growing NFT popularity. As I'm sure most of you know, NFTs have become extremely popular within the last year and a half. I believe if we look back 18 months ago that the total value of all NFTs would probably be less than about $100 million. Today, that number, the value of all NFTs, is probably more than $10 billion. So, if those numbers are correct, that's a 100 times increase in about a year or a year and a half, which is just tremendous. So that was one reason. Next reason is that I've had quite a few people suggest that I use NFTs as rewards for puzzles. So if you're the first one to solve it, I can give you an NFT. That's a great idea. I was thinking about how to implement this, but I kind of didn't want to just make like a one-off NFT for each puzzle and give that out. I didn't know exactly the best way to implement it, so I decided not to do that at the time. With this project, it is a collection of NFTs. I will be holding on to some of them and rewarding those as prizes in some puzzles going forward. Not all of them, but occasionally I'd like to reward one as a prize. Lastly, these were fun to create, and I honestly think they turned out excellent. They turned out much better than I thought they would when I began working on this project, when I didn't have all the details worked out. But I think they turned out great. Alright, so quickly, I'll show you some examples of the NFTs in a minute, but first of all, the details of the collection. So I minted these on OpenSea.io, and I used the Polygon Blockchain. I did this because it was free to mint. I think OpenSea covered the minting cost, which was only 3 or 4 cents, so much cheaper than Ethereum. Polygon is an ERC20 token, so you can use the Ethereum addresses to buy or sell them, or I'm actually going to end up giving away a lot of these NFTs. So that helps me being able to do it on the Polygon blockchain. There's a total of 500 NFTs. What I did was I selected 25 puzzles. I believe I've posted about 35 so far, so I picked the 25 that I thought would look best in an NFT, and then I created 20 NFTs from each of those. So that's how we get to 500. For the image puzzles, it's just the same image for all 20 NFTs. For the video puzzles, I chose different frames when possible. I believe there's one that was 16 frames, and then a couple that may not have had a full 20 frames, but in those cases I may have duplicated a frame twice. But in general, for the video puzzles, each NFT is created with a different frame. But I kind of wanted to add something more to these NFTs than just that. A lot of these NFT projects now, they advertise, they have all these different traits, and then you calculate the rarity by looking at the various proportions of how many have this trait, how many have this, and then the combinations. So I wanted to add some of that to this project, and the traits that I added were the border color and border pattern. So I basically put a border around these NFTs. The color can be 3 different colors, so gold, blue, and green. Gold is the rarest. 109 out of the 500 have a gold border. 181 have a blue border, and 210 have a green border. In addition to that, I designed different border patterns. So there are 10 different patterns. I'll show an example of 2 of each of those during this video. And then I designed the borders to be random. So beyond just the random pattern, each one the program ran and chose a color and a pattern. Well, each individual pattern is randomized, so even if the color and pattern are the same between 2, the border itself won't be the same. And then I also added what I'm calling this FLAIR pattern. Maybe there's a better term for that, but this is kind of an add-on to the border patterns. Alright, now here's some examples of the different border patterns. So first of all, the diamonds border. I thought this one turned out great. This is the rarest one. Only 27 out of 500 ended up being the diamond pattern. So here's one in green, here's one in gold. And as you can tell, there's these little blue, red, and pink diamonds sort of on the outside or embedded within the border. So that's what I was calling the FLAIR pattern here on this previous page. So that's adding even more randomness to these. All right, here is the second border. I call this one the SKYSCRAPERS border. Exactly 34 out of 500 have this border. It kind of looks like skyscrapers on the border. I thought this one turned out really good as well. Again, we see the red, blue, and pink FLAIR shapes kind of on the outside. The colors of those stay same on each one. There's always the same number. You just kind of add it's there to add something to the borders and give it some more randomness. Next border I call the columns border. This one has some variation in the exact shade of the color in the border. So on this one on the right, not all these green colors are the same, just like not all the gold colors are the same on this left one. Still has the blue, red, and pink FLAIR shapes within it. 39 out of 500 of this pattern. Again, I think these turned out far better than I was originally picturing when I made these. I'm very happy with how this turned out. All right, next border I call the ovals border. 39 out of 500 of this border. I couldn't really come up with a name based on just this generic the border pattern, so I've named it after the shape of the kind of the FLAIR shape. So this was the only one that were ovals. Next border I call the PICKETS border, kind of making it look like a picket fence. 46 out of 500 are this border. And you also get for this presentation I put in each NFT is from a different puzzle, but in the full collection there will be 25 NFTs that come from this blinking star puzzle and then 25 NFTs that come from this puzzle here. But I want to show you a wide range just during this video. All right, next border is the geometric border. This one turned out excellent as well. Next one, I'm calling this the trees border. Kind of looks like a forest around the outside. 53 out of 500 of that border. Next border I call the slant border. The border is just a bunch of lines, but they're slanted in different directions. The vines border, 72 out of 500 of these. I really liked how this one turned out. And finally, the circles border. This is the most common, with 77 out of 500 being this border. But again, I thought this border turned out excellent. And then finally, looking a little bit more into the randomization of these, what I'm calling the FLAIR shapes. So as the program ran to generate these borders, what it did was each individual one of these, there was a 60% chance it was blue, 35% chance it was red, 5% chance it was pink. So each one was calculated independently. Kind of the same thing with the heights of the diamonds here. So that was another random variable as part of the border. And in this one, the kind of the exact shade of blue was also randomized. So with this, you can, if the color of the border and the pattern of the border aren't enough randomness to make like a good rarity, well, maybe one will be rarer because it might have 2 pink shapes in a row, or maybe one will have 3 pink shapes in a row, and that one will be extremely rare. Or perhaps this pattern that looks like 8 blue shapes in a row, maybe that will be considered rare. I will leave that all up to the market to decide, though. I just thought this made it look, just added something to them. And then here's another example of the randomization within the border. As you can tell here, it's the exact same color. They're both gold, and they both have the slants pattern, but they are different. So the heights of these columns are different, and the color of the FLAIR patterns are different, or the FLAIR shapes. So each one, even though they can be the same traits, there's still some variance here. So here's my strategy for distributing these NFTs. So I'm very thankful to all my YouTube subscribers. So I really want to give everyone who subscribes and likes my videos and my content, I want to give you one of these NFTs for free. And I'm going to randomly choose that I'll just pick a random number, and that's the NFT you will get. If you would like to support my channel, you can buy up to 4 additional NFTs. I'm pricing these at about 0.006 Ethereum, or it's about $25. When the day you decide to buy these, I think whichever one's lowest, we'll go by that. I haven't decided on the exact price. So whichever one is lowest on that day, we'll go with that number. So if you want one of these for free, please message me your address. The supplies are limited, though. I don't want to give them all away for free. I definitely want to give some away. So there's some sort of a limit. I don't want to say what that is, but there is a limit to how many I want to give away for free. So if you really, really want one of these, please send me your address sooner rather than later. Additionally, I'm only uploading this video here. I'm not advertising this project on Reddit or anywhere else, hoping that I can give most of the free ones away to my subscribers and people who really like my channel. After that period, though, I will make an announcement on Reddit and maybe a couple other places to allow anyone else to purchase up to 5 NFTs each. Price will probably be the same as here, maybe a little bit more, but probably the same. And then after that's been going on for a while, I did want to keep a few, I'm not sure how many, maybe like 100 or 200 that I can just list on my OpenSea marketplace and say something like, well, if you want to support my channel, please consider buying one of these NFTs. My original thought was I could post them all like that and people could just buy them if they wanted to support the channel. But then I realized, well, at this price point, maybe someone just wants to buy them all. And I didn't really want that to happen. So what I'm trying to do is distribute these to as many people as possible for what I believe is a fair price. So if this interests you, please send me a message with the address and just a bit of information on how to do that. This is just one possible way, and I tested it this way, so I know it works. If you have MetaMask, this is fairly easy. If you don't, download MetaMask. It's a browser extension. You get a wallet, write down your seed phrase so you can recover it if you lose access to it. The second step, add the Polygon network to that wallet. So these are NFTs that are on Polygon, so that the fees are much, much lower than on Ethereum. It's an ERC20 token, though, so you will be able to just use the main Ethereum address in that wallet to accept the NFT. So after this step, navigate to OpenSea.io and connect to MetaMask or whichever wallet you're using. I just haven't tested the other one, so I don't know the exact instructions. Once you do this, you'll basically be given an account on OpenSea. You can customize it, add some stuff, but this process is very simple, and then you'll see your wallet address there, and that's the one that I will send the NFT to. So once you're at this step, just find that address, send it to me as a message. If you really support my channel and you want to buy some, you don't just want the one free, maybe you want the one for free plus you want to buy two, well, let me know how many you want, and then after you send that payment to me, I'll send you my Ethereum address, and then once you send that payment to me, then I will manually gift the NFTs to you from my OpenSea marketplace. I think that's the easiest way. It's a little bit of a pain, but I think this makes it so I can distribute these to as many people as possible. And then finally, here's a link to my OpenSea.io marketplace. Here's a link at the top. Notice the dash between the words crypto and puzzlers. It says there's 501 items in here. There was one I uploaded wrong and I deleted it and then I re-uploaded it. I don't think their database is caught up or something is going on there, but there are 500 in this. The correct number here is 500. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you like this project. And if you like my content and like these videos, I really hope I can give you one of these for free.